Hi everyone. I thought today we would have a discussion, and the theme of our discussion today would be on cutting the things that no longer serve us out of our life. And I thought this was the appropriate theme because in my last video, I mentioned to you guys that I was going through some personal issues and I was having a really hard time dealing with some things and letting go of some things. And I've always done this ever since I've been a kid, but every time I get upset, every time I get sad, depressed, anytime my emotions are getting the best of me, I go and I cut my hair off. And as you can see, I did that again. But in light of what I just said about getting upset, I did get upset and I was letting my emotions get the better of me. But after talking to my very special someone about everything that was getting to me and the whole idea of cutting my hair, they gave me some really good advice, and most everything that they told me, I already knew deep down in my heart. And that was another thing that I had touched on before when we were talking about calling to the goddess. And that's usually how it goes. We are looking for confirmation, whether it be from the goddess, whether it be from a friend, or a significant other. We're always looking for confirmation. But it doesn't matter what anyone else thinks. All that matters is what you think. And more than 100% of the time, I might as well say 100% of the time, we know deep down, if we would sit down and we would ponder on the ideas or the thoughts or whatever it is that's affecting us, if we would sit down and think long and hard, we usually know the answer before we even ask the question. So us being human, we're usually looking for confirmation. But with that being said, I just thought, following my last video and based on what I've been dealing with in my personal life, I'm not going to sit here and share, each and every little detail of my personal life with the whole wide world. But, I'm not ashamed, and, just because I don't, give the intimate details of what's going on with me, I can say that, I'm just like everyone else. I deal with stuff and I don't always deal with it in the right way, in a positive way, I let things get the best of me. And I just thought that, like I said, following our last video theme and with what I have going on in my life, I'm sure there's someone else out there, that's going through this and, having a hard time dealing with things. And I just thought it would be nice for me to share some of my issues and some of my emotions and problems, and just in hopes that it may help one person. Like I always say, I just hope that, one of these videos may reach one person at the right time, just resonate with one person. And I feel like, I have fulfilled my calling, and I really truly believe this may be my calling. And, like I said, when the goddess put something upon our heart and, spirit is dealing with us and trying to show us the way and what we need to be doing in life, they're going to show us. And the goddess, she loves us and she's going to keep showing us, but eventually just like a mom with a child that's being a little too stubborn, at some point, if you don't listen and if you don't, do as she's telling you, she may stop telling you. So remember, the goddess is always with you, and she loves you, and she wants you to be happy. She wants you to find love and peace. And we all have a calling, and, sometimes we'll learn, early on in life what our calling is, and sometimes it'll be, like in my case, later on in life what your calling may be. But you will find your calling, and when you do, please answer it, because not only will you enrich your life and make yourself happier, but that's the whole point of the goddess giving us a calling, is to make this a better place, to make people's lives better, to help each other, to love each other, to teach, to learn, to grow. That's all she asks for. And I guess I'm getting a little sidetracked as usual, but when there's a discussion on walking this path, there's just so much that I feel bubbling up in me to say, and sometimes I let it bubble over and I get sidetracked, and I do apologize. But it's, like I said, it's just, there's so much beauty in this path that we walk, and there's so much to talk about and so much to teach and so much to learn, and I just want us to all, learn and grow together, and that's the whole purpose of these little videos. And like I said, I just hope maybe they're reaching one person out there at the right time and, doing the right thing in someone's life. But let's move on. I've done lit an incense to clear our space, and I'm just going to go ahead and do that. And I've been on a rose kick lately, so again, I've chosen a rose incense, and rose signifies love. It's just the perfect herb to use when doing love magic. But like I said before, it's not just love of someone else. Rose, like rose quartz, of course, it's love of self as well. And I think, love of self is pertaining to our theme today. And, again, that theme is, cutting that which holds no purpose in our life, cutting that out. Just like I cut this hair off, cutting it out. And like I said too, always cleanse your space, clear your space, and I think, sometimes different topics, they need a little more, clearing and cleansing. So I also brought my bell, and this little bell is actually an old bell. It was a gift from my grandmother. It was her bell, and when we would go on vacations or anywhere where we would be away from home for any extended period of time, she had a little box that she packed, and it was basically her witchy box. It was her things to set up a temporary altar, or things that she may need to practice her craft while she was out. And she always had this little small bell in it, and she used this bell for many things. But one of the things that always stuck with me is she would use sound as a way to cleanse and clear negativity as well. So I just figured, with the theme that we're talking about today, cutting out that which no longer serves us, I just thought maybe a little extra, cleansing and clearing may be needed for that. So I'm just going to clear our space with sound from the bell now. And, like I said before, the beauty of walking this path and practicing this craft is there's no right way and there's no wrong way. There's only your way. So anything that I may do, you know, if you feel drawn to do that, do it. If you feel drawn to do that but make changes, make changes. If you feel drawn to cut, you know, that particular thing out altogether, you know, cut it out, don't use it, you know, follow your heart and you do what you feel is right for you when you practice. And one more thing before we begin, and like I said, I feel this, you know, this topic is important. I say that about all of the things we discuss, but this one is really important because anything dealing with ourselves, you know, and self-love and, you know, anything pertaining to, you know, you is very important because you can't do anything properly or positive in life if you don't take care of yourself first. And like I said, you know, it's easy to sit and give advice, but the hard part is taking it, especially your own advice, because this is something you know and you know you should do, and you're telling other people that they need to do this, but then you don't always follow suit. And you know, that's just part of being human, and we all are learning and we're all growing. But when I do my videos and, you know, I'm talking and I'm sharing my ideas and I'm sharing my beliefs and my experiences, it's things that have happened to me. It's things that I have went through, things that are, you know, in my mind. Some of them I haven't thought about for a very long time, and some I think about on a daily basis. But when I'm doing the videos and I'm, you know, sharing this information with you guys, it's just like it clicks. Sometimes we just need a little reminder, and I think, you know, me doing the videos in hopes of helping someone out there, you know, in reality, I'm helping myself as well. And I think that is the most important thing, is helping yourself, loving yourself, and taking care of yourself. And, you know, with life, and we just forget sometimes. And then, you know, we let our emotions get the best of us. And like I do, when I get angry or upset, I pout like a little kid, and I'll be like, you know, I don't care. My friend will tell me, you know, you've got to take better care of yourself. You've got to eat. You've got to drink, you know, and I'm like, I don't care. But really, I do care, because I know if I don't take care of me, I'm no good for anyone else. And that's our purpose, is to help each other, to love each other, to grow, you know. Anything in a positive light, that's what the goddess hopes for us, you know. The goddess is love, and, you know, she wants us to be as much like her as we can. She wants us to connect with her, you know. And like I've said so many times, you know, the goddess is everywhere. She's in everything, including us. We are an extension of her. And, you know, think about it. You would do anything for your goddess. You know, you give her gratitude, you give her love, you know, you obey her. She's your higher power. She is the reason for your existence. And then knowing that she is within you and you're an extension of her, and you're not taking care of yourself, you're not doing what you need to do for yourself, not only are you abusing yourself, but you're abusing the goddess as well. So, you know, sometimes we just forget, and I'm so guilty of it. And let's move on. But I just have a few things, and yes, I had to make notes because I had so much going on today with work, with life, and, you know, I didn't want to forget anything that I wanted to point out to you and share with you guys. So, I know this isn't very professional. I've got a few little notes on my cheat sheet down here, but I hope you guys understand. But I wrote down for me the top things that I do, and like I said, I haven't been doing them lately like I should, but things that I have done in the past, let me say it that way, that have helped me to release that doesn't serve me anymore. And there's things we can do, there's things that we desire, and like I said, walking this path, there's just so much involved in walking this path, and it all comes together at the end. And it all comes together to make this one big, beautiful way of life. And that's all we are hoping to achieve is happiness, love, and the bigger picture, that beautiful, picture perfect life. And I know it's not perfect, and I know it's never gonna be perfect, but that doesn't mean we can't strive for perfection. Sometimes you can find perfection in an imperfection, if you know what I mean. Sometimes, like for instance, in my life, and I'm not gonna go in too deep, but my love life, I always felt like I was searching for my special someone, and I had relationships in my life, and I cared about those people. I may have even loved those people to an extent, but that wasn't my special someone. And when you find that special someone, you know how you feel, you know how they make you feel. And another key in knowing that you found that person, just like I was saying, finding perfection in an imperfection, is when that person loves you for who you are, when that person accepts you for all of your little kinks, all of your little issues, all of your little ugly spots that are on your heart. That person sees them as beauty marks. They see, the beauty in you. They see all the good in you. And the things that aren't so good, if this is the person for you and if this person loves you, they accept that, and they try to help you be a better person. They try to help you grow. And if you have things in your life that you need to cut out and that aren't serving you, they'll see that and they'll point that out. And not only will they point that out, but they'll help you to cut those things out. Overall, they'll help you be a better you, and they will help you to grow. And that's just like I said, seeing the perfection in the imperfections, just an example. But when you're trying to let go of things that aren't serving you, when you start letting go of them, you'll understand what I mean. But you'll learn to be free. You'll learn, that you shouldn't hold back. You'll learn that you shouldn't deny yourself, and you shouldn't worry about what other people think or what other people say. And that is very, very key in cutting out what no longer serves you, because if you can't let that go, you're going to have a really hard time finding your happiness. And another thing is put yourself first. I know that is so hard to do, and I struggle with that daily, several times a day. And if you're a mom and you have kids, it's even harder. But your kids, they don't stay babies forever. So you can't, continue to put other people first. At some point, you're going to have to learn to put yourself first. And also, again, I need to take my own advice, but don't hold on to the past. The past is the past for a reason, because it's the past. And what I had to do was I had to sit down and I had to actually read the definition of the past for it to like click, to, for me to have an aha moment. And sometimes it's the simplest things that we do that make us realize or understand or see. But don't hold on to the past. Don't forget the past. Please don't forget the past, because the past is, I say lessons. The past is lessons you learned, and those lessons help you to move on in the right direction. They help you to do better, to be smarter. So don't dwell on the past, but don't forget the past. Look at the past as life lessons. And kind of going back to what I mentioned just a few minutes ago, I think it's important when you're trying to cut out what's no longer serving you is to find someone you can talk to. It can be a friend, it can be a brother or sister, it can be a co-worker, it can be your twin flame, it can be your husband, your wife. Find someone that you relate to, not just on material things, but you relate to them spiritually, you relate to them physically, mentally, emotionally. It's got to be your special someone, because some things you can talk to anyone about, but some things you need to only talk to that special someone about. You've got to be able to share with this person and know when you're sharing with them that you can trust them, because part of letting go is, letting go completely. Like I said, being free. And if you are afraid of telling this person your deep, dark secrets, or you're afraid to ask this person advice or questions, or if you have that fear in you, you can't let go. So you've got to find that special someone that you can talk to, that person helps you be a better you. You can share with them, and you can share with them freely. You can grow with them. You can learn from them. You can teach them. And, if you can find someone like that, it will make it so much easier to cut out that which you no longer need in your life. You're strong, you're independent, you can do anything on your own, but you always can use a little help. Every superhero has a sidekick, and just like, every witch needs a sidekick, and I think it's important. I used to try to bottle it all up, and I was afraid to share it, and I was afraid to tell people my real, true inner thoughts and my desires and my wants and my needs. I was so afraid to share that. But when you find the right person, all of that fear just kind of melts away. And, like I said, that is so key in letting go of that which no longer serves you. And another thing is, I'm so guilty of this. I say that about everything that I'm sharing with you guys, but I'm the worst. But when you're upset, when you're mad, when you're sad, when you're confused, nervous, it doesn't matter. Anytime you're experiencing some strong emotional upset, or especially if it's anger or if it's sadness, those two will really get you in a bind. But do not, I repeat, do not make any major decisions when you are mad or when you are sad, because I promise you, you will regret them. I don't care if you and someone very close to you are having a little disagreement or an argument, and you get mad, and out of anger you tell that person, leave me alone, go away, don't never speak to me again. And then deep down in your heart you're crying like, please don't go away, please, say something else. But because of your anger, and you let it take over, and in just that 1 second, that one moment, you can say or do something that can ruin, a relationship. It can ruin a life. It can ruin, it can just ruin. So anytime you are upset, please, please don't make any major decisions. Don't say, think before you speak. And, remember, your words are your intentions, and words are very powerful. So, it could be a spoken word with your voice. It could be a written word. It could be a typed word. It doesn't matter. If that thought is your thought and it has any anger, negativity, or anything attached to it, don't even put it out there. Even if you feel that you want to tell that person that, or, you feel like 100% positive that this is what you want to say to this person, stop. Take a deep breath and just think for a minute. And, more than likely, that emotion will pass and you'll calm down, and then you'll think, maybe that wasn't really how I felt, or maybe that wasn't the right thing to say. And you can't let go of things when you're angry, when you're sad. Yes, you're going to feel emotions, and we're human, we're going to feel them. But when you're in the midst of the storm, do not make any major decisions, I beg you. And lastly, and like I said, I know there's so much more to this, but these are just a few things that I have done and that have worked for me, and perhaps I need to start doing them again. But lastly, start small. You can't just go out there and conquer the world. You've got to get yourself together first. And, what's the saying? Rome wasn't built in a day. Well, that pertains to any and everything that you are trying to accomplish in life. You just can't do it all, and you can't do it in an instant. So start small. And like me, my ritualistic action that I done was going and cutting my hair, and that signified me, cutting this that no longer serves me out of my life. Well, that's me. This works for me because this is like the start of my new beginning. I'm letting go. But what works for me may not work for you. And this may be a drastic thing for you to do, but for me, it's not. I've seen people go get tattoos, and that's drastic. I've seen people get married. I've seen people split up. I've seen people, just go buy themselves a diamond ring. And then I've seen people do little small things like, go have a picnic with a loved one, buy a new outfit, make a necklace, paint a picture, write a poem. It doesn't have to be a big, huge thing. You're not making a statement to the world. You're making a statement to yourself. And that statement is that you're cutting out what no longer serves you in your life. And you're starting new. You're starting fresh, And like I said, you can start small. You can't do it all at one time. And, it doesn't have to be a big, major, thing that you do. In fact, you don't even have to do anything. You don't have to cut your hair. You don't have to paint a picture. You can just simply sit down, and if you want to speak with the goddess, if you want to meditate, if you just want to sit down and write a list, however you want to do it, whatever works for you, you just simply sit down and you decide what isn't doing you a bit of good and what isn't helping you and what's hurting you. And that is what you want to cut out of your life. And, I suggest using mantras, and you can look them up online, you can find them in books, or you can just write one of your own. And in fact, I've got a little one that I wrote, and it's nothing fancy. It's just simple, basic, straight to the point. And, when I'm doing this, and I started today, I got up this morning, and before I did anything else, before I washed my face, took a drink of water, before I did anything, I woke up, I went straight to the mirror, and I said my mantra, and I looked in the mirror as I said it, and I envisioned myself, taking everything that's doing me no good, and I'm cutting this out of my life. I'm doing away with it. And I do little exercises. I visualize, and it helps me. And this is what I did. I put my hand out, and this hand here is what I'm taking from myself that no longer serves me. And I am. That's my mantra. I am. I am worthy. I am capable.